39.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight on this Monday, November 24th, 2014. Paul Joseph Watson is going to be joining us in the next segment, and I'm going to hold off on this Sandy Hook Elementary School report of the Office of the Child Advocate, where they're trying to extend the government into the lives of our children, into the lives of our family. They're going to use $160 million in funding from the federal government to make it happen. I'm going to read you some of their goals and what their agenda is, and we're going to talk about that with Paul Joseph Watson, along with this breaking story in the UK about how the government that is always acting in our children's best interest or acting in the name of national security, because that was the way they protected the pedophile politicians. They said, you need to stand down. You can't report this in the press. This is a matter of national security. So they always invoke national security. They always invoke the welfare of the children when it is really the children in this particular case, in this Sandy Hook report. They're after our children at an early age. They do not want us to have private decisions that we're going to make about our families. They want to intrude themselves into our families. But let's go through the news in this segment, because we have a lot of our affiliates are doing a news break at this particular part of the program. Again, on Infowars.com, we have police in Ferguson violating a court order by arresting a journalist. They say that he was in the street. Nevertheless, we see pictures that have surfaced showing that he was filming it on the sidewalk. And we have testimony from people who were there. We also see a Ferguson mob marching in St. Louis City, shuts down a highway. A reporter is hit in the head. We have Paul Craig Roberts' story, opening the gates to World War III. Of course, Paul Craig Roberts was on the show with us at the end of last week. He says in this article, a Russian foreign ministry official condemned Washington's reckless decision to supply weapons to Kiev as a violation of an agreement that would make a political resolution of the conflict less likely. Sounds very much like the kind of namby-pamby statements we're hearing from the GOP. Paul Craig Roberts says this statement is perplexing. It implies the Russian government has not yet figured out that Washington has no interest in resolving this conflict. Washington's purpose is to use the hapless Ukrainians against Russia. The worse the conflict becomes, the happier Washington is. Now, of course, they understand that, I believe. Certainly Putin does. He's making massive overtures to China. The direct trade between Russia and China, circumventing the U.S. petrodollar, has increased by 8-fold in just the last year. There are new energy deals that are being struck. They are trying to do an end run around the U.S. petrodollar, which is essentially the thing that kept the fiat currency from our Federal Reserve from imploding its wealth as they took us off the gold, any tying to a gold standard. They essentially kind of backed it up with oil. Now, if these countries, if Brazil, Russia, India, China, the BRICS, if they start moving away from the petrodollar, start dealing directly in their own currencies, that will not only undermine our currency, but greatly undermine our economy. We have the Texas governor-elect, Governor Abbott, who was the Attorney General, plans a new lawsuit against Obama. He says the president is unconstrained by the Constitution. He went on the Fox News Sunday with Chris Wallace. They asked him, he's been Attorney General here in Texas, why he has sued the president so many times. He said, because this president, more than any other, has abdicated his responsibility to uphold and enforce the Constitution. We have a president who feels completely unconstrained by the Constitution. He says he's had reasonable success. I think he has sued them, somewhere in this article it said, over 30 times. So he's going to do that yet again. Clearly, I do not agree that a lawsuit against Clinton is the rightful thing for Boehner to do, however. He has other remedies that he refuses to do because it's not in his naked self-interest politically to do that. He's going to take some political heat. if he impeaches Obama. But Obama has done many, many, many things to be impeached for. They're going to allow him a free pass because they want the power when they get involved and because it's policies that they agree with. We're going to be right back with Paul Joseph Watson from the UK. Stay with us.
Aging starts at the cellular level. When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries. During that period, key patented compounds have focused on mitochondrial growth, nerve growth, and rejuvenation. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. We now have the synergistic solution, DNA Force, just one of the key compounds. BioPQQ is backed by major clinical studies and over 175 PubMed-listed published studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with super male or super female vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight in Austin. Joining us now is Paul Joseph Watson from the UK, and we have a story that Paul just put up on the Infowars.com site. Guccifer says, Pennsylvania city to be nuked next year. Top hacker has archive of unreleased emails from military and intelligence officials. Paul, welcome.
Good to be here, David.
Fill us in on what the latest revelation from Guccifer is. Is this something else from the New York Times? Because they interviewed him in prison about a week or 2 weeks ago, and at that time he had talked about possibly a false flag nuclear event in Chicago. Now, is this another article that they've released some additional information?
That's right, yeah. It's from the original interview with the Romanian hacker Guccifer, who is in a Romanian prison right now. And basically, it's some information that was unreleased in the first New York Times article. So the New York Times came out and said that he gave them a manifesto, which was a precondition to do the interview. But they didn't reprint any of the information contained in Guccifer's manifesto. They only referred to the fact that he mentioned the potential for a nuke attack in Chicago in 2015. Now, in this second article, they also acknowledge that Guccifer said there was also a target, a plan for a nuclear attack in a Pennsylvania city also next year. And why this matters is because Guccifer hacked the emails of top military intelligence and political professionals. He hacked the emails of the Bush family, the Rockefeller family, members of the Council on Foreign Relations, former Clinton aides, FBI officials, Federal Reserve officials. So he hacked these emails. He got this information, Colin Powell as well.
Yeah, actually, people remember. If people remember, there were those pictures that we had, the articles at the time. You can go back and see them on our archives at Infowars.com. He got pictures of George Bush where he was essentially painting his feet in the bathtub and things like that. So they were intricate emails. He revealed an extramarital affair with Colin Powell. He had an email that was going back and forth between George Shultz and Colin Powell and others saying, we need to get Henry Kissinger to put pressure on Tony Blair to come to Bohemian Grove. You got to impress upon him that this is really important. These emails were going back and forth by the guy who is now head of the Rupert Murdoch news empire. So he got into some really deep stuff, and they tried to downplay this in the last article. I haven't seen this newest one that you're reporting on, but in the first article, they tried to downplay it and say, oh, he's just trying to put a political spin on this. He was really just eavesdropping on pretty girls, and yet there was a lot of government emails that he infiltrated, wasn't there? Exactly, and the big point here is he says that he has another treasure trove of emails that he hasn't publicly released. Many of them have been released on Cryptome.org, but in this new New York Times article, they reveal that he's got a bigger archive that he has stashed away in the cloud for safekeeping and perhaps for use as a bargaining chip with the American authorities. So maybe he's using this as a threat to try and lessen his 7-year prison sentence and get out of jail sooner. But in this latest article, he's now talking about a Pennsylvania city. And again, this isn't just some random person on the internet. Right. This is somebody who's had direct access to the emails of top military and intelligence professionals. So that's why it's at least of interest. The New York Times didn't find it of any interest. They just said it was a conspiracy-laden rant about the Illuminati. And he actually had a psychological evaluation, Guccifer, otherwise known as Mr. Lazar, and they found that he was completely sane. He wasn't prone to delusions or anything like that. So, you know, we're merely taking this and highlighting it and saying this is interesting that this top hacker who had access to all these military and intelligence political emails is now saying that Pennsylvania could be a target for a nuclear attack next year, after saying that Chicago could also be in the crosshairs. And even if it's, you know, not some kind of staged attack, we know that ISIS have put out propaganda where they directly name buildings in Chicago that they plan to attack. So this has already been out there previously. It sure would be interesting to talk to this guy before he gets killed by these people, because he talked about, and they were laughing about it in the New York Times, talked about the Illuminati and these elite people who were manipulating things, and yet you look at the emails going back and forth about Bohemian Grove, and you look at this guy, Andrew Knight, who at the time was the #2 under Rupert Murdoch, now has essentially assumed control of the newspapers there. Somebody who has long ties as a CEO of conservative British press organizations and mainstream editor. He's there trying to get Tony Blair to Bohemian Grove and writing Colin Powell saying, you know, put pressure on him from Henry Kissinger. We need to get him there. I mean, there is something going on that he has seen the inside of it, just like Alex Jones saw the inside of it when he snuck in there and took the pictures. I really would like to get that detailed information from him, but he's hopefully he's leveraging this to keep himself safe in prison. Well, yeah, the point about Bohemian Grove, the email which was sent to Colin Powell encouraging Tony Blair to attend Bohemian Grove in 2012, is it again demolishes the myth that Bohemian Grove is either just a talking shop or a summer camp. Right. Because he's very insistent that Blair go there, because obviously it's important in terms of influence, networking, making connections, and coming to major decisions. We know that the Manhattan Project was crafted at Bohemian Grove, so major
geopolitical global decisions take place there. And these Gucci for hacked emails are another illustration of that.
Yeah, he evidently was reluctant to go. Maybe, he'd heard of the homosexual reputation of the place.